Oh my God. Is this thing on? People hear me on this thing or not? Am I on there? I can't tell. Mic check, mic check. 1 2 1 2. Mic check, mic check. 1 2. Yeah, see me now? All right, that's what it is, man. I don't even think I really need this damn ear thing in my ear because I ain't here with nobody. You know what I mean? Ain't no one else for me to hear but myself in my ear. So I don't really see what the principle is for me to have to wear this thing or anything like that. You know what I mean? What's the deal with people? You know what it is, Don Tony Teflon, and I'm back at you another one. And what's the title of this stream? I think it's titled Game of Thrones News. So let's get right. Let me say what up to the people who are rocking with me right now, real quick. What up to my man Danny? What up to, as always, OTDA holding down the Gazette for the dime? What up to my lady LMR? What up to Christian O's? What up to everybody out here? What up to There's Always One? What up to Marquita Gold? What up to all y'all people out here rocking with me? There are more people out here rocking. As long as they comment, then I will put them, I'll say their names and all that good stuff, as always. You know what I mean? So, what is the title of this stream? I think this stream is called Game of Thrones News and Notes. So let's get right into the Game of Thrones news. What is the news on Game of Thrones? There isn't any. There it is. That's the Game of Thrones news right now. That there is no news about Game of Thrones. I guess the only news about Game of Thrones is that the season is over. And it has been over. As always, the Thug Mug is in here. Let me highlight my man stuff right here. Anyway, you know what I mean? So that's the Game of Thrones news. It really isn't any Game of Thrones news or anything else jumping off like that. You know what I mean? Isn't that really nothing we can share right there? What up, Chrissy? How's it going on, girl? How's everything? How's everything with you? So, listen, I've been doing a lot of thinking. I've been a lot of thinking and stuff and talking about, the channel and what to do with the channel, where to go with the channel, what I should be talking about on the channel and everything else. And I would say this like this. When I did this channel, when I first started this channel, right? No doubt it was definitely just cool to chop it up. But when I first started this channel, the name of this channel was House Teflon, all right? That was the name of the channel. If you look at the YouTube thing, I think the link may still say House Teflon. And that's why you always see like the logo has House Teflon on it and everything. That was the name of my channel, was House Teflon, because I got into doing this for doing Game of Thrones stuff. And I'll say that it was Carmine from Red Team Review that hit me up when I first started and was like, you should change the name of your channel because you don't want to get boxed into just doing Game of Thrones stuff. You want to be able to do other things. And then that's when I changed the name to Teflon TV. Right. So shout out to my man Carmine for giving me that advice, because that's not what's going to happen here. I'm not going to get boxed into just being Game of Thrones channel, because obviously, as I said before, there ain't no Game of Thrones news. There's really nothing jumping off of Game of Thrones. Yes, they have a prequel coming out, and I hope the prequel gets picked up, but I haven't heard anything about the prequel being picked up. Maybe y'all in the chat have heard something about the prequel being picked up. I have not heard about that. And then when I look at the whole situation, like when you deal with the Game of Thrones community, which I think there are many fine people. When we talk about the people who actually attend the Con of Thrones or the people who want to attend the Con of Thrones, I'm always going to be a part of that, because I love Game of Thrones more than anything. But unfortunately, when you look at this as a whole, when I look at this YouTube thing as a whole business situation, the people who love Game of Thrones are not enough for me to support me to take my time to do strictly Game of Thrones videos. There's just not enough views out there. Now, if you look at any big channel over 100,000 to 1 million subscribers, you'll see that the views for their Game of Thrones videos are way down. It's really not anything. And if you look at the like really big channels, like really big channels, you don't see them doing Game of Thrones at all. And I told people from the beginning that the only reason those channels were doing Game of Thrones views was they didn't give a fuck about the show. They didn't give a fuck about the books. They were just using it for views. And as soon as the show went off the air, you see these really big channels, they haven't dropped the Game of Thrones video whatsoever, right? Because they're in it, they're business, and they're in it just to do for the business. They ain't in it for the love. You know what I mean? So that's basically where it turns out. So when I deal with me and Teflon TV, I have to say that I have to start looking at this channel as though it's not a big channel, but trying to operate it as one. So even though I have so many Game of Thrones things, The Children of the Forest, I have a 4-part series, and I want to continue, and I will finish that 4-part series because I started it and I will do it, and it's my prediction that came true. So I have to put that out there. So that'll definitely get done and all that. But I'm going to have to expand the channel into more than just doing Game of Thrones content. I'm going to have to expand it into doing more things, and hopefully by me doing these more things that you people will be interested in these things. So if you share strictly for Game of Thrones, you still will get Game of Thrones content from me. I still will drop that. I always will drop that, but I have no choice but to expand to other things. I'm interested in other things, and I'm going to expand it. And not like it's going to do it overnight. It's going to be slowly but surely. As you've seen, I've been trickling out a few Marvel videos here and there, and I'm going to expand it into trailer videos and everything else. And that brings me to the podcast. Now I have a podcast that right now that I'm doing with LMR. It's called The Lady and the Don. Hold on. What are you saying in here? There's a troublemaker in here? Who's a troublemaker in here? Who is this person? OTDA. Whack him for me. Will you? I don't really worry about these people. OTDA got that. He hold that down for me. There's a troublemaker in here. OTDA, whack him for me, all right? Period. Whack him, get him out. I ain't got time for that stuff. All right. So yeah. So basically, so what we're saying is that I'm going to expand this channel into doing a lot of other things. Hopefully, you come along for the ride with me and you'll be down with it. But as I said, it will never not be Game of Thrones content. That is always my first love, and I always will do that. But the other things I'm going to do. Now, as I said, I have a podcast with LMR called The Lady and a Dime. We put out one episode of the podcast, and it was the Theon Winds of Winter chapter breakdown, which I think was a very good start for us, and we did a good job doing that. Oh, I'm sorry. But when I look at it, and I look at people on podcast situation out there, how many people are searching for a Winds of Winter chapter breakdown in the podcast world? And when I think about it, I would have to say maybe 1 out of every 10,000 people are searching for that. That's not really what people are looking for at this particular time. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to, I don't want to say like beat a dead horse or anything like that, but I'm not going to waste her time because she has a family that she's trying to do, and it's taking time, and it takes time for me to edit and put everything out there for something that is so niche that only a couple of people are actually willing to go there and watch. Because even if you ask all y'all cats out here in the chat, how many people in this chat has gone on and checked out that podcast thing that we've done? I mean, that chapter has been broken down by so many people over the years that I could understand why people don't even want to do it anymore. You know what I mean? Until there is truly well, thank you, Chrissy. We appreciate that. Until there's truly some Winds of Winter contest, a new Game of Thrones thing, it's really hard to do that. So I have decided, and she has agreed with me, that we are not just going to do Game of Thrones on that channel anymore on our podcast. We're going to change it up. For a while, we're going to change it up. You know what I mean? And how we're going to change it up is like this. 1 second. I appreciate that. I truly do. And you know what I mean? I wish you would check out that podcast. You know, it's very good. I think we did a good job on it and stuff, but we're going to change it up. It's going to be a lot different now. It's going to be, we're still going to be talking about Game of Thrones things on it and everything else, but basically it's going to be turned into really an entertainment podcast. We're going to be talking about more of the trending things that are going on in the entertainment world of in the United States and the whole world, right? So we'll be talking about things that are trending. Like, so our next episode that we came out with is going to focus on a lot of different things. It's not going to be just one thing broken down for 2 hours long anymore. We're going to focus on a bunch of different things in shorter segments. So it'd be more like a radio show. If you tuned into the radio, it should sound like that when it comes out. And those videos, I will put those videos out on YouTube too. Like that other video, I'm not going to put on YouTube, but this one I will put on YouTube. Oh my God. Jesus Christ. What am I yawning for? Anyway, but yeah, I'm going to definitely put those out on YouTube for you. So our next episode that we're doing, I think we're recording it tomorrow. It's going to basically, we're going to talk about the Joker trailer. We're going to talk about that. We're going to give the review for The Boys, the first 2 episodes of The Boys. We're going to talk about the Star Wars trailer. And there's something else we're going to talk about. I can't think about it right now, but it's going to be like that. You know what I mean? We're going to do multiple things in there instead of just one subject for 2 hours. All right. We're not going to do it like that. It's going to be a bunch of different things in there. You know what I mean? As I said, I want to talk about the Joker trailer. So does she. I have thoughts on that. She has thoughts. She's a big Star Wars fan. We're going to talk about this Star Wars trailer that dropped and everything else. So we're going to, and if anything else that trends, like some news on Game of Thrones come out, we'll do something. We'll do that. We'll do any news that is basically trending out there. We're going to do that on that. All right. So anything you see trending on Twitter or anything that day or whatever like that is going to be entertainment. We're also going to do a movie segment every week that we're going to tell you that they are what each movie that came out that week, what they made. We're going to tell you what are the new movies that are coming out in the next week. And we're going to give you our predictions of what we think that those movies are going to gross in the first week. And then we're going to take y'all predictions in the comment section. And then whoever comes closest to getting that, the first person that we see in the comment list that comes closest to getting those movies done right, we're going to give that person the prize every week. All right. So that's how we're going to run that too. So that is the place that we're going with that podcast. That's what we're doing with it. I hope all y'all like it and stuff. I hope you all enjoy that segment when it comes out like that. We'll be recording that tomorrow. So I hope you watch it and everything. I think it's going to be real good. I think it's going to flow more freely like that. And I think it's just a better look. So hopefully you enjoy it. If you don't think it's a good idea, then let me know right now that you do not think it's a good idea, and tell me what you think is a better idea. But if you do think it's a good idea, then let me know in the comment section that you think that's a good idea for us to go that way with the podcast. What up to Michelle Hayes? What up to Autumn Bryant? What up to Bernie the Burnt? Chilling in there with me. Let me see. What is this? Teflon TV. I'm hoping Unizy's play K2. Gotmo. He don't want to play me in that. Let me tell you something. Aziz. I think we were supposed to play Risk or something like that, and it never happened because I'm a very good Risk player, and supposedly he is too. So, but maybe one day we can get down like that. We can always do something. That sounds exciting. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. You know, that's what happens when you have this feature of putting people's comments up there. You get more busy just putting people's comments up on the screen. I would rather just it did it automatically. I wish it would do that automatically and stuff, but it doesn't. We got a bunch of people in here right here. Let's see. We'll listen regardless, whatever you're talking about. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate that. Yeah, I truly appreciate that. You thought I was gonna go off on Aziz about a board game? No, yeah, I'm not. He's my man. I'm not gonna go off on Aziz on a board game. I'm just saying. I maybe I'm wrong, but I thought we were supposed to get together at some point and play Risk. Obviously, when you get together to play Risk, I thought that was supposed to happen. It didn't happen. You know, maybe one day at the con or something like that. It's hard because it's like if I'm going to meet him at a con and that's the only place I can play the board game. Like playing a board game is like the last thing I'm really interested in doing. Because I remember when I was at the con, I'll tell you this story at the con. I'm at the con and I was at Smoker Hannes's house, and we were sitting there, and they wanted to play this. What is this? What is that game? Quippage? What is that name of that game? Quippage? Quippage? Or something like that? Anyone know the name of this damn game I'm talking about here? Sailor Diva is back in the building. What up, shorty? We're gonna leave you up for a while because you ain't been here for a while. What is the name? What is his name? Quippage? Quiplash. This goddamn Quip ass. They're just sitting here and they're doing all these hookups. Like, Tony Teflon, you gotta play Quiplash with us. I ain't playing no goddamn Quiplash. I didn't come all this way to sit in front of a TV and play basically Mad Libs. That's what it is. You know, I did Mad Libs when I was in first, second grade. You know, I've done all that stuff. You know, did you ever have? I'm gonna ask you people something real quick. Did you ever have those books that came with the invisible ink pen, and the pen had a orange top? Do you know what I'm talking about? Do y'all know about? Are y'all too young for that? I don't know if they still made it. When I was young, like that was my favorite thing in the world, like to get those books. I wonder what it is. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about? It was like a book. I don't know the name of it, but it had like an invisible ink pen, and you put the ink pen and did the answers with it and stuff, and it had an orange goddamn top on the pen. Do y'all know what I'm talking about? Did you play that? Did you ever have those things? Those things, maybe some of you have had those. I don't know if it was in New York or something. I would hope that was just in Queens, New York, and stuff. But that's what it reminds me of, like playing that game. You know what I mean? What is that? It was called. It was called Magic Pen. What's it called? Magic Pen? I don't know if it was called Magic Pen. Was it Magic Pen? Ghost Rider? I don't know. I just know I had the invisible ink pen. I used to go crazy for that fucking invisible ink pen. I would have murdered you to get my hands on that damn invisible ink pen. I'm telling you, I wanted it really bad. But that's what it kind of reminded me of. And I played those back in the day. You know what I mean? So then Quiplash, I'm sitting there and Lauren and Elamar and Tarzan. And who's pushing it? And Val. Who's Val? Val and Val's man. They were the ones really trying to get me to play this goddamn Quiplash. I wasn't in the mood to play Quiplash because I just wanted to drink. You know what I mean? So it's like I'm when I'm out drinking, I'm trying to drink. I'm not sitting there in front of a television set playing Quiplash. I'm not into that shit, man. You know what I mean? So that's just not for me. So it'd be hard for me to sit there and play a game of Risk. That'll take hours. You know what I mean? I really don't have to have hours to play. I don't, you know, would I play Monopoly? Maybe. I'll shoot dice. I'll play CeeLo all day. If you want to shoot craps or play CeeLo. Like, to me, that's a drinking game, right? I play that shit for money. Y'all want to put the money up and you want to get it popping like that with Tony Teflon, some CeeLo. I'm your man. But to sit there and do that, it's hard for me to do that. You know what I mean? It's just hard for me just to sit there and play Quiplash. I know people love it in the Game of Thrones community, and they can. And all the people that love it have every right to love it, and you have every right to play it. But the Don Tony Teflon, I'm trying to play some games, baby. But those ain't the games I'm trying to play. Not what I'm drinking. I'm trying to play other games. Yeah, I want to sit there and start playing some goddamn Connect 4 or some goddamn tic-tac-toe. I ain't trying to play tic-tac-toe when I'm drinking. I'm trying to play something else. You know what I mean? That's where I get down. I don't know. Yeah. But that's what it is with me when I'm out there, man. So, but yeah, they're trying to get me to play this goddamn Quiplash last shit. You know what I mean? I'm not playing that shit. I ain't got time for that stuff. I'm drinking. That's just not for me. Not for me at all. We got a bunch of people here. Toka's up in the building with the Don Tony Teflon. I'm glad Sailor Diva is back. I have not seen Sailor Diva in months. She just went incognito on a brother. She just bounced. And that was it. John Haymaker's up in the building. So that's what it is. Peter Griffith is up in the building. And that is what it is. The Granite Person is up in the building. Yeah, so that's basically what so me doing that with LMR, I'm going to do that. It'll kind of, I have a format already picked out the way it's going to go. So we're going to do that. And then once that's done, we're going to do a live stream and go into more depth about whatever topic gets the most comments. So if you want a live stream devoted to that topic, we're going to go into more depth about that one. Whoever gets the most comments and stuff, we'll go into more depth about that once a week. And now the podcast that we did before was only going to be twice a month. We have decided that we're going to do this every week. It will be a weekly podcast that we put out there every week. It'll drop. I will chop those up into 10-minute segments and put those out on my channel 1, 2, 3, 5 days a week. And then you'll have to, if you want the whole thing in kit and caboodle all in one shot, you'll have to go to the podcast and download it that way. All right, and all that. So Sailor Diva, why have you been gone? She says, I had to recover from that GOT ending. LOL. Listen, that GOT ending, I'm going to tell you straight up, it took the passion, some of the passion out of Game of Thrones for me. It truly did. It truly fucked it. And not because of the way it ended. All right. I'm going to say it was because the way it ended. Because it could have ended that way. It's not because of that. You know what I mean? What's AK for? You're not allowed to leave, AK. Where you going? Where you going? Where's she going? Where's AK going? Why is she leaving? Where's she going to do? Where the hell's AK going? Why is she leaving? She has a stream later on Stranger Things. Oh, yeah. Put your link up. Put a link up for the people who want to speak about Stranger Things with AK-47 later on. She got set up for that and all that. I just, you know me, I just turn the shit on and just go. So it's not like I'm over here coordinating shit. So I ain't trying to step on no toes or nothing like that. But yeah, you know, I'm gonna tell you what they did, Dan and Dave, what they did wrong. What happened was that I think that purposely they knew that the ending was going to be different. And I think that they knew that a lot of people, mainly me, had got the ending right. So I think they purposely changed it just to fuck with the YouTubers and the people who theorycraft. I think that they purposely did that just to make it look like these people didn't know what they were talking about. I think that's why they had the shitty ending that they had. I think they truly did that on purpose just to fuck with people, just to make sure that other people didn't get it right. I think that's exactly why they did it the way they did it. Because there's no way that I could see that ending going down in the books like that. I think the actual things that happened. Will Jon Snow kill Dany? Yes, he will kill Dany. That's a done deal. Will Tyrion get arrested? Yes, he will get arrested. Will he survive being arrested and come out the way he did? Yes. Will Bran sit on the Iron Throne? Yes. All those things that happen. Will Arya sail west? Yes, she's going to sail west. Will Sansa become queen of the North by herself? Yes, that's going to happen. Will Bronn be on the council? Fuck no, Bronn's not going to be on no damn council. You see, certain things like that is not going to happen. Will Theon get killed? Yes, he will get killed. I don't think he'll get killed that way. But if you listen to the podcast I did with Alamar, I explained to you exactly why I think how he's going to die on that podcast. So I won't get into it here, but check out that podcast. I think it's on Podcast Bean. You can download the Podcast Bean app and watch it on the Podcast Bean. I don't have the link to it in here, but I should probably have it, but I don't. But you should sign up and subscribe to our podcast so that you could be that every time one drops, you don't have to just keep running back and forth the Podcast Bean for it. So make sure you go and do that. You know what I mean? So it's right there. So I think that they did it on purpose just to fuck with YouTubers and people who make up theories, which I think was wrong, which is why I believe they had the shitty ending that they had. And I think that's what it is. I think that if they would have just played it right by ear and did it strictly by the book and let people predict the things that were right, then they did. And if people predicted things that was wrong, then they would have been wrong. But I think they purposely did it because they're very sensitive. All right. I don't know which one it truly is, but they're both very sensitive. And you can just tell by the things that they have done in the show. They hold grudges. And I think that's it. I think they were done with it and they didn't want anyone to get anything right. And I think it was more to the point where it wasn't about the quality. This is terrible. This wasn't about the quality of the show anymore. It just became about, you guys were wrong. You guys are wrong. Fooled you. I think it just became that to them. And that's why they had the shitty ending that they had. Because the ending was pure shit. I mean, I'm not, and it was pure shit. And people would say, oh, you didn't get it right. I did get it right. I had predicted that Jon Snow would kill Daenerys when I first started my channel. You can look at the video, The Death of Daenerys Targaryen. I gave book proof in the book that showed that Jon would kill her in the book. I gave proof of that. I didn't just come up that out of my ass. I have a whole theory that showed book proof that was going to happen. And that's exactly what happened. He did kill, like I said. I don't think it's going to be for the same reasons. I don't think there's going to be a Tyrion on death row like goddamn Hannibal Lecter talking to Jodie Foster. That's going to convince Jon Snow that she has to die and he's going to do it. I do not believe that whatsoever. It is not going to happen like that at all. There ain't going to be no dumb bullshit like that at all. I guarantee you that does not happen. What's this right here? Are you going to check out The Mandalorians? Yep, I am, Killmonger, without a doubt. I'm going to check that out. Right now, what I'm watching right now is, what the hell is the name of that show on Netflix? Bad Blood. Bad Blood is what I'm watching right now. I'm watching I'm digging Bad Blood. I don't know if y'all watch Bad Blood or anyone's into Bad Blood, but listen, if you're looking for a show to watch and you don't have nothing to watch Bad Blood. Trust me. I'm telling you, the Don is telling you to watch Bad Blood. If I'm saying it, I'm saying it for a reason. Hopefully y'all have seen Bad Blood. Bad Blood and The Boys. We got Linda R right here. What you say? Just wrote down Bad Blood. Listen, I'm telling you, Peter, watch Bad Blood. That's what you want to watch right now. Bad Blood is the show right now. I'm trying to tell you. If you start watching Bad Blood, you'll binge watch the whole thing. It's one of those shows that you just binge watch everything. New Chappelle show? I didn't even know there was a new Chappelle show. There was. I'm definitely watching it. Definitely watching it. I'm not gonna talk. So the boys, I only watched up to episode 2 of the boys because me and LMR we said we're gonna give our true review of it. So we're not gonna watch the whole season and then do review episode 1 and 2, and then we seen everything. Just gonna watch episode 1 and 2. That's as far as I am. I'm doing the review tomorrow with her. So it's a true review of it. Oh, wow. It's terrible. So that you know it. So if I predict something or whatever, we'll be able to see. It's very hard when you have these binge watchy shows that don't come out weekly to do predictions, to do anything like that. Because anything you get right, people are gonna be like, you've seen it already. You see it. That's why you said it, you know. So it's hard to do that when you have shows like that. I like binge watching shows because I'd rather just sit there and watch the whole show and watch everything because that's just how I am. But I do understand the importance of having a show that comes out weekly so you can do predictions and everything else. Oh, stop fucking yawning, bum. What the hell is going on? Yeah, the boys is wild. It is wild without a doubt. From what I'm seeing so far in the first 2, it's very, very good. What is this going on? The Chappelle Show. Let's go to comedy stands up. So smart, very thought provoking. Yeah. Dave Chappelle's a great stand up comedian. He truly is. He is truly is a great stand up comedian. Carnival Row. You know, I could give it a shot. You know what I mean? I could give it a shot. I'm so sorry, Christy. You know, it's addictive yawning, and I don't know why I am. I'm well rested. I mean, I went to the gym. I think I got to the gym at 7 o'clock in the morning. I did my workout. Then I went back and I did my boxing. I do the workout with the weights in the morning, and then I go back at night at 4 o'clock and I do the weightlifting. I do the boxing program at 4. So I'm very good. You know, I feel good. I don't know why I'm yawning. I'm not really tired. It's just weird. Yes, it's not 2 days every day, Bernie. It's just 2 days twice a week. Because I only do the boxing stuff. I only do the boxing stuff 2 days a week. And then I lift weights. I do the weightlifting stuff. I do that like 4 days to 5 days a week. So it's not truly 2 days every day, but those 2 days I do the boxing along with it and stuff. That way, when you see me next year at the con, you come to the con, I'll be there wherever it is. I'll be there no matter what. Hopefully, I'll be on panels. I never assume that I'm going to be asked to be on panels, even though I think it's a good possibility. But I don't never assume. I never take it for granted that I'm going to be asked to go on there because it's always a blessing when I am asked to go on there. So hopefully, I get asked again to go back to the next con. And when you see me on that con, before you see, I figure by December, January, I will be a pretty massive human being. There it is. Oh, Bernie, let's put that. I can't drink the Heineken. I told you I'm working out, Bernie. I have to drink the Michelob Ultra now. That's what I have to do. Sorry. You think you think I don't know what I'm drinking? You think it doesn't make me happy to drink this? I'm not happy at all. Yeah, I'll be pretty big dude, man. I guarantee you. I guarantee you. I guarantee you I'll be a pretty big person when it's all done. Well, I would love to meet you too, Linda R. I hope I get a chance to meet you. I truly do. I hope I don't disappoint you if you get a chance to meet me because it is what it is. I'm just me. I'm the same person you see right here. It's who I am. We got a question right here. What are your thoughts on hip hop crews like Zulu Nation and artists like Big L dying young? So Confessor Oak, I will tell you right now that my friend, he's my close friend. I grew up with him. He's older than me. He's as old as my older brother, and he used to push me around on the merry-go-round. And you can ask him this. His name is Big Jeff. All right. So if you, I don't know if you're familiar with people in the Zulu Nation, but if you ask anyone in the Zulu Nation about Big Jeff, he's like one of the top dudes in there in the Zulu Nation, like one of the top. And he is not a person he doesn't know in the hip hop business, in the industry. He knows everybody. That's how I get into places and everything else. I just roll with Big Jeff. When Slick Rick just did a whole, like, Slick Rick did a performance, and he asked Jeff to come up on stage with him and do all of his ad libs for him. That's how cool Big Jeff is. All right, so crews like Zulu Nation, I think that they were very instrumental for spreading hip hop. And I think that for spreading the culture of hip hop, they was needed for Zulu Nation. Now later on, there's a couple of things that happened in Zulu Nation I'm not going to get into because I don't truly know what happened there. I know the rumors and stuff that I don't agree with, but I think that it was very needed that at the time to help spread the culture of hip hop. As for Big L, Big L is one of the greatest rappers of all time. I listen to Big L every time I work out, so that's at least 4 days a week. I listen to Platinum Plus, and I listen to Fall Back with him and Kool G Rap. I love Big L. You know what I mean? Obviously, Big L had the beat for before Biggie Smalls had the beat, and Biggie Smalls stole his beat actually after Big L. But Big L it was sad the way that they murked him and then took his body back to his block where he's from and dumped his body on the block. You know what I mean? Because Big L was ready to break out at that particular time. A whole Digging in the Crates crew, or the Big L, Lord Finesse, all those dudes, is Diamond D who making the beats and everything else, all the Digging in the Crates dudes. That was their time to blow up. He had his record label, Flamboyant Records, was about to come out, and he had a couple of artists dropping there. So I think it's real sad, whether it's Big L, whether it's Scott LaRock, whether it's Tupac, whether it's Biggie, you can always look back and see in the hip hop community that you see people getting shot up. It's so strange to me that this happens in our community all the time, but you never see that happen in like a rock and roll community. You never see these guys when they die in the rock and roll community. It's usually from drug overdoses or self-inflicted things like that, but never getting murked out there. You know what I mean? Which is so sad. But no, they were great artists. He's a great artist, and I love Big L. Listen to this reply to this random question at the can. That's why it sounds great. Yeah, well, thank you. I can answer any question if you ask me. I got answers for it. Obviously, I grew up in the hip hop era. You know what I mean? When it was all first starting. I remember when I was a child, like young. When I'm talking about like 4 or 5 years old, 5, 6ish, 6, 7, around there. When I was real young, I don't know exactly. Kindergarten. I would say I remember going to parties outside, and they would open up the street lamps and they would pull out the wires from the street lamps and they would hook the turntables into them. And my older brother and them would take me, and my cousins and my aunts, and they had the turntables out there and people be dancing. They have the block parties and everything else, and that's how it really all started. And I remember dudes coming out there and rhyming and everything else and doing things like that. So I was there in the beginning when everyone just thought it was going to be a fad, when it wasn't supposed to stick around, and it was just some people, black kids, just messing around. I remember when it was that hip hop. I remember all that. A really good memory. And I remember all that stuff when it was jumping off and everything. So that's why, to me, when I look at these hip hop stars that are out right now, they're not really stars to me. They're just like regular heads to me. Like, stars to me in hip hop is like Big Daddy Kane is a star to me. Like Rakim is a star to me. Kool D is a star to me. Eazy-E would have been a star to me. Ice Cube would have been a star to me. DOC, Dr. Dre, the original Dr. Dre, not the Dr. Dre that's out now. All those people that came out when I was Roxanne Shante, Queen Latifah, Nicki, not Nicki Minaj, you know what I mean? Nicki, Moni Love, all those people would be KRS-One, D Nice, Big L, Lord Finesse, all those people, Granddaddy IU. When I think about those people right there, those are stars to me. Like I would be like, oh my God, hanging out with Granddaddy IU and all. Like other heads I hung out with. Like I hung out with dudes from Mobb Deep. I hung out with AZ. I hung out with Tragedy Gaddafi. I've hung out with other, I hung out with Nas. I hung out with other R-rated rugged man and everything. I just got into it with R-rated rugged man. Actually, on my Facebook, I got into it already because we had a slap boxing bout back in the day, and I beat him. And then he was trying to act like I didn't beat him. He was trying to act like he didn't know me at first in thing. And then I had to explain to him exactly who I was. And he was like, oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I haven't seen you in a long time. What's going on, kid? How's everything? Blah, 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 blah. This, that, and everything else and all that. But then he still denied the fact that he lost the slap boxing match. I told him we could just run it back next time we see each other and we see what it is. You know what I mean? That's just what it is and stuff. So, yeah, all them people, you know what I mean? I've been through this business, this rap business, longer than I've been in the YouTube business. And I met so many people along the way that I have a bunch of stories, a million stories about a million heads. Everyone, Noriega had beef with Noriega. He put stuff in his song about my peoples and stuff, you know what I mean? When he was a whole bunch of things like that. So I could always talk about anything like that. If you ever want to hear about something like that, just let me know. But if you ever have like, any type of like questions like that, just ask me. If you have any questions right now and thing, just throw them up in there. I'll let you know. There's no doubt. I know it all, man. I know all that stuff. I'm down with everything like that. Yeah, Nori from Capone Noriega. I had beef with that nigga because what happened was the one who's doing the Drink Champ shit right now. He got that Drink Cast podcast. We had beef with that nigga because my peoples, the Bleach Brothers, were down with 25 to Life, which was Tragedy Gaddafi's clique, right? And he was down with them too. He was down with 25 to Life. When he first came out, he was running with Trag and them. And then he basically kind of broke off from hanging out with Trag and them. And when he blew up with that, what, he came out with that and kind of blew up with that. And he kind of like he stepped off, you know what I mean, from dudes, from Tragedy Gaddafi and them. And it's kind of foul because that was a time when you got to lift up the people that you were hanging with and bring them through the door and help them out. So it became a big thing between them and stuff. And then my peoples was down with them. So, he threw a verse in there about them and stuff like that and mentioned their name in the verse. And it was drama for a little while. I remember going to the studios and stuff like that. And dudes had the ratchet on them in the studios thinking that people was going to come and slide through and this, that, and the other. It was a wild time because dudes was really, it's real life. Even though you go in the studio, you making music and you doing this and you thinking it's all love, dudes run up in your studio session, man, and will stick you up. Dudes will come in your studio session and rob everybody in the studio, strip you from everything butt naked and take all your shit. So it was a time. Being a performer before, who would you compare your style to when you perform? I don't know if I can compare my style to anyone when I was on the mic, when I was doing my thing on the mic or anything like that. I don't know if I could compare it to anyone. I would just say, I did my own thing on there. I was influenced by Kool G Rap a lot with my raps and things like that. So always had some things like that jumping off, you know what I mean? But I don't know if my performance was like anyone else. I was a skinny guy that was cut up and took his shirt off and got on stage shirtless and did his thing and things like that. That's just what it was, like a Tupac era type situation. It'd probably be like a Tupac DMX type situation and stuff, because I was small and skinny and I was really cut, so I was able to do that all the time, and that's just what it was. MC Breed. I haven't heard that name in a very long time. MC Breed. I haven't heard that in a very, very long time. Now, 90s hip hop is the best hip hop of them all. When you look at just the hip hop in general, if you say what was the best hip hop there was, It was definitely 90s hip hop. Most Def, Black on Both Sides is one of my all-time favorite albums. Do you like Mighty Most and Talib Kweli? I tell you, they were on. There was an album that my friend R.A. the Rugged Man, when he had came out. He had first came out and he was signed to, I believe, Jive Records. Then he got blackballed. They tried to blackball him from Jive because he did something stupid. And then after they tried to blackball him, he went to Ruckus Records. And he was on an album called Sound Bomb. And I think Talib Kweli was on that. Eminem, I think, was on that too. Because if you really listen to R.A. the Rugged Man style and what he did, you could easily see that Eminem seeing what he did and took what he did and changed it and blew up with it. Because at the time, R.A. was like very overweight and he didn't have no sex appeal to him. He was just a really good rapper. And Eminem was a young kid with this hairstyle and everything else. And he was a good rapper, but he didn't rhyme the way he rhymed when he came out. He did not rhyme like that. I didn't hear him start rhyming like that until after he met R.A. and heard R.A. stuff. And then all of a sudden it became, hi, kids, you like violence? You want me to put 9-inch nails through each one of my eyelids? That was shit that R.A. was saying. You know what I mean? R.A. was over there saying stuff like that. I'm the 450-pound fat bitch ass eater. You could ask, he was the one saying all rhymes and crazy stuff and funny things like that. Eminem came and duped that and blew up with that and became Eminem, and R.A. just became R.A. But that's what that was. That's how I really remember them, is when he got put on that Ruckus Sound Bombing album. You could check that out and stuff like that. If you don't believe me, you could definitely look at it. You can look at my people, they're the Bleach Brothers. If you listen to the first Terror Squad album, the first one, there's only one Terror Squad album because Pun died after that. But the last song is called www.that'smyshit.com. It's with the Bleach Brothers, Triple Six, and Fat Joe. And I think they were going by Q Drew at the time because Gary's from Queens and Dirt's from New Jersey. I think they may have been going at Q Drew. I don't know if they changed the name to the Bleach Brothers at that time. But that was the plan. The plan was that was Mystic Records, which was getting pumped by Lindsay and Big Pun. And they were all going to be signed to that record label. And they were going to come out with Pun in them. And that was the way it was supposed to happen. But then when Pun died and passed away, they pulled all the money back from the record label. And that's how everything got fucked up. What up to LMR back in the building and stuff like that, chilling. Chilling with us. Bad Black Barbarians podcast is up in the building, chilling. And all that. Joanna K is up in here chilling. Oh, we got a question right here. So, which character do you think D&D did the worst in season 8? I think they did Daenerys the worst. I think that they really fucked up Daenerys' whole character. If they were going to say like, and they really wanted to go with say that Daenerys was this crazy woman, that Daenerys was going to turn crazy, and that there was no saving her. Like she was just this murderous person that was executing people at the drop of a hat, as she was being like her father, the Mad King. There is nothing in there that makes her look like that. You would have had to set that up from the beginning season. Now, I've done videos on you can go back and look, and I've said in my videos that when Daenerys is burning people, that you could look at her eyes, that she had crazy eyes, like she was enjoying it a little bit too much. I said that in videos back in the day because I seen the turn coming, that it's possible that she could go that route, but they did not push it out there enough to make it believable. They made it look like she had a bad day and her friend got killed in front of her, so she just went ape shit because of that, not because she was crazy and she just wanted to kill everyone. It made it look like she was upset. And if you're upset, you're not going to be upset forever. You know what I mean? I think that was really how they fucked it up. They should have really pushed it and made her nuts. Like, if you're gonna make it, like when she burned Varys, that was justifiable. That, you know, the things that the Mad King would do would not be justifiable. She just burn you to burn you. They didn't show her do anything like that, just burn someone just to burn them. Everything that she did was justifiable. All the way she acted was justifiable. She had every right to burn Varys. She should have burnt Tyrion. She had every right to do those things. You know, did she kill innocent people in King's Landing? Yes, she did kill innocent people in King's Landing. But that's Cersei's fault for hiding behind the people. You know, I think of it to me like you know, like you see like in the real world, like ISIS and all of them, and they'll hide in between the civilian population so that you can't go in there and kill them because you don't want to kill the innocent people. I get to a point where you just got to start taking people out. You know, maybe I'm wrong with that. And the innocent people, listen, sometimes shit gotta happen. And that's the way I look at it. There was too many troops in between people. She had no choice but to start burning people's asses. And they could have left, and they could have did anything and got out of there, but they didn't. And that's on them. So did she burn some innocent people? Yes, but there's things that's called casualties of war. And these things happen in war, right? Or a lot of innocent people die in war. That's why it's called war. It's not called tiddlywinks. It's not called holding hands. It's war. And in war, people die. That's what war means. War means death. If you want to know what the definition of war is, it's death. Period. Point blank. End of story. And you're in war, people are gonna die. Innocent people, not innocent people, death on a mass scale, on a mass level. That's what war means. So she did kill a lot of people, and she took the throne, but there's nothing that made me believe that if Jon Snow just married her, that she was just gonna burn the whole world. Especially when they have the thing saying that, and they're like, oh, well, at the end of it, and Sam suggests, hey, why don't we let the people vote and on who they want? And then the High Lords are laughing about it, saying, oh, why don't we let our horses vote? Ha 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 ha. Like that, you know, that's no different than what she said to Jon Snow. She said the exact same thing. But I didn't see Jon them trying to stab any of those dudes for saying that shit. All of a sudden, you want to stab her for saying the same exact thing they said? It's just stupid. And I thought that that's how they fucked up the whole situation with them. I don't believe that they did a good job with that. If I had to pick one person that they fucked up the most, without a shadow of a doubt, it's Daenerys Targaryen. I would understand if she burns the troops and some people get it. Oh well, but she kept going for no reason. I wouldn't say she wasn't going for no reason. I'm saying she said fuck it. That's it. It was to the, you know, it's just got to the point where she burned the troops and yes and everything else, but she said fuck it, let's go. And we gonna go. I'm burning everyone in my path. You know, I myself, I've seen people beat up people. Basically, you would say it's for no reason, and they're probably wrong for doing so. But when you get into, like, if you're in a group situation, I don't know how many group situations y'all been in, or mob mentality you've ever been in. When you're in a mob of people and stuff, and you're in there, it becomes like you become a part of it, and it's hard to explain unless you actually been in it. But if someone's doing something wrong and you're in the mob with them, you're gonna do the same wrong stuff just because you're in it. You know what I mean? So when she was already killing people and she was at war, she was like, I'm killing fucking everybody. Fuck it. Everyone's gonna die today. Whoever stands in front of me is dying today. I don't give a fuck who you are. That's what it seemed like she was at. More than she lost her mind and she was crazy. I didn't see her like the Mad King going crazy. I didn't see her having orgasms and setting people on fire. I didn't see her truly like enjoying to do it. She wasn't laughing when she was doing it like that. She was just mad as fuck about everything that happened to her, and she was like, "Fuck it, I'm killing everybody," and it worked. It worked. She got it. That's what she did. And when you have people like Orlando Tyrell telling them to be a dragon and things like that, you see her best friend's head get chopped off. You know what I mean? Right in front of her. That'll make you lose your mind. And she didn't. And they didn't even make that good of her losing her mind. All they did was make her look like she had a bad hair day. Like she looked like she didn't put no conditioner in for the day. And all of a sudden she's mad because she didn't put conditioner and they took the makeup off her for the day. Oh, now she's mad. She has no makeup. She didn't get her hair conditioned. So it just wasn't done right. If they wanted her to turn crazy, then make her crazy. Make her crazy to the point where everyone can see, this chick has lost her mind. She's got to be stopped. Right? They didn't do that. They didn't make it seem like that to her. You could make someone, you gonna make her crazy, make her crazy, make her crazy, make her crazy, make her go nuts. She was not to that point at any time. She just seemed upset. And I think if Jon Snow would have just married her and she thought something, he could like, come on, baby, we're gonna go a different route with this. And she would have been cool with it. And the way she killed her with a kiss with the bad she wanted him, and he desired to get closer and stab her. Such a betrayal. Listen, tell you something about Jon bitch ass Snow. You know what I mean? Such a bitch ass way to kill somebody. He gonna kiss this chick and gas her, and I predicted this is exactly how it would go down. I told y'all, all people here, I know y'all are fans of mine, and that's why I told y'all that was gonna happen. I told you that when Azor Ahai killed Nissa, I told you. I said it's not like he told her and said, "Hey, baby, come in here. I'm gonna stab you." I told you how he did it. He probably wouldn't act like he was gonna open up your breast. Let me see your breast, like he was going to get some sucky on. And when she did it, he stabbed her and did it. I told you it was some sucker play like that. I told you. Y'all, people in the chat would tell you I said that exact words. And I said exactly that's how it's going to go down with Jon Snow. And he's going to do some bitch ass move and do it like that and take her out. And that's not the way it should have been done. You know what I mean? Because that's not a sacrifice. So when you deal with the whole situation of a sacrifice, Jon Snow, if he's going to be a Azor Ahai, if you look at him as a Azor Ahai person, he didn't sacrifice shit. What did he sacrifice? He didn't sacrifice a goddamn thing. A chick he didn't want to marry. All of a sudden, he's disgusted that that's his aunt, and he doesn't want to do anything with it because he's so disgusted by it. How do you know that this is even really your father? Because someone told you, and now all of a sudden you're disgusted. Listen. I know personally. All right, personally, I know an aunt that married her nephew. Right, I know that. I know someone who did that personally in my life, not in my family, but in my life. I know someone who did that. And I'm gonna tell you like this: they have a kid together and everything, and there would be no turning off of feelings for someone that you really cared about, just like that. If you find something out, it just don't work like that. That's not the way feelings work. Feelings don't work to the point where you hear one thing that you love someone the way they were trying to pretend that they loved each other, like they were so deeply in love. You hear one thing about a person, all of a sudden, I can't even be near you. I can't do nothing with you. That never happens, man. Never happens. Trust me, that this doesn't happen. So that's just the way it goes down. And you can yikes, Chrissy, all you want. I've told you it's not my family, and I'm telling you the truth. It really isn't my family, all right? That's the way it is. But there was no damn mad queen with Daenerys at all. Nothing at all went there that make you think that she was mad whatsoever. Tanya says the season was too rushed. The only thing I hope for is Dany is still alive and comes after them all. I wish he would too. I wish he would. Listen to OTDA. He knows what he's talking about. He knows exactly what he's talking about. Stark uncles married their nieces before. They sure did. Especially at that time period. A lot of people did a lot of different things, man, back then. You know, I think that when I look at it, my grandparents are cousins. On my mom's side. I think my grandparents are cousins on my mom's side. My grandfather and my grandmother were cousins. When you're in a situation, especially back then, a couple like my grandparents, I would say that they're probably the second generation that wasn't born a slave in this country. I think my grandparents were second generation. I think they were a second or third, but around there. So it was really not too long out of slavery in this country. And when you look at the dynamics of people back then, it's not like you had the internet to meet a billion people. It's not like you had transportation where you could drive hundreds of miles. You were stuck. It was a very wooded area. There was barely electricity or any type of pavement. There was no paved roads or anything like that. There were one little roads. Everything was forested, and it was little towns that they were at. You wouldn't leave your 10-mile, not even 10, like a 5-mile radius. You would stay in that 5 miles your whole life back then. You wouldn't be anywhere but them. So mostly the family members, women that you've seen were family members. And that's just the way it was. And that's why you would marry one of your family members back then, because you wouldn't be out to see other people and meet other women or have a significant amount of time when you did to get to know them at that particular time. The people you would know are the people that are close to you, and usually that is family members. And that's just the way it was back then. It just wasn't easy. It wasn't easy the way it was back then, like it is now. You didn't have the options to go around and meet someone from the other side of the world, or meet someone from a different state, or meet someone from a different town. You barely would. Just to go from your house to go into town was like an exciting thing back then. Like, oh my God, I'm going to town. I'm going into town. It was exciting to go into town when you're out there. My grandparents, they didn't have any electricity in their house until my father, who was an electrician, came and put it in their house. And my mom has 5 sisters and 6 brothers, and she was the youngest. So all those years, they had no electricity down in North Carolina in that house in Roaring Rapids. My dad's the one who put all that. The electricity still to this day that's in that house is what my dad put in there for them. They had no indoor plumbing until my father came there and married my mom, and he did all their indoor plumbing for free and put that all in there for them. They just had an outhouse. They used to have to pump the water in the bucket, heat it up, and then bring it in to take a bath. There's no showers. There's nothing like that. That's the way it was back then. That's the way they were living back then. So that's just where it is. I mean, when you look at the things you take for granted and stuff like that, it's not like that. That's the way they got down. My mom was one of the people that were originally bused to schools that weren't segregated. I mean, she would tell me stories all the time of how she would be in the bus and they used to have to duck underneath the seats when she was a kid because the Ku Klux Klan would be outside with torches, and they would take the American flag and use it to break the windows on the school buses while they were trying to get to school all the time. I heard about all those stories when I was growing up, and she told me about all the things that she had to endure and everything else. So this is what it was back then, and this was not long ago. I mean, you look at it and you think, oh, that happened 500 years ago. Not even close. Not even close. This is a few years ago, a couple of decades ago. It was like that. You know what I mean? And that's just the truth. That's just the way it was back then. Lynn Mack is in the building. Lynn Mack got to say right here. Long comment. The guy who allowed the violence into Castle Black is going to marry his aunt. That would be bad writing, especially with how Cersei and Jaime incest relation was portrayed. So I wouldn't say it would be bad writing, Lynn. I'm going to say the reason why I don't think it would be bad writing is because it's documented that the Targaryens did that all the time. She was supposed to marry her brother. Daenerys was that's the Targaryen way. So if he was truly at that particular time embracing his Targaryen roots, then he would have done the things the Targaryen way. And that was a Targaryen way back then. It was looked upon nasty due to Cersei and Jaime because they weren't Targaryens. But this is what the Targaryens done all the time. Even if you look at them in our modern day, like the Rothschilds and all that, all the Rothschilds, if you look at all of them, they all married their cousins and they all married everything. It was they did that on purpose. And all the fortune was always passed to the sons because they didn't want another family to take their wealth. So all the daughters weren't able to inherit any type of money back then from them because they didn't want their daughters to give their money to their new family, the new person that they married. So they purposely married all their sons to their cousins and everything else, just so that the wealth stayed inside of the family. Someone keeps hitting me up real quick. Let me take a look at this real quick. I'm sorry about this. What? I think you misunderstood me, man. Yeah, I would think that you misunderstood what I was saying about tonight. I can't be doing double duty tonight. I have to work in the morning, so there's no way I can do double duty. Yeah, John D is in the building. Chilling with us. Look at John right there. Chilling by his little computer and everything else. Little thing. You know, when I was in the music business, I know John, he always likes to say the word motif. Motif is John's word that you always see him spitting out in his videos. Motif all the time. But no, like motif to me, I know what motif means, obviously, but motif to me was a keyboard that I always wanted. I always wanted to get a motif keyboard. Motif keyboards are like, that's so good, those keyboards. I don't know if John feels the same way. I'm sure he has his own particular brand of keyboard, but I always liked the motif keyboards. I always liked that keyboard. I was always into that one. That was the one that always excited me to get one. So every time I hear the word motif, I just think about the keyboard. And that's it. That's what I always think about. What is this right here? Nope. Eminem got his style from Newark, hanging out with outsiders. That's not true. Dre, who said that? Was this Dre Beverly? You know, I understand that people that you may believe that that's what happened or whatever. That you know, and maybe he was influenced by a couple of those people there, Dre Beverly. But trust me, it's really not. If you ask anyone, ask R.A. Ask him. Just listen. All you gotta do is listen to his stuff before that sound bomb and shit dropped, and listen to his stuff after. It's pretty clear, and it's pretty clear as day. Go listen to R.A. the Rugged Man, especially listen to R.A. the Rugged Man back then when he was doing songs like "Every Record Label Sucks Dick" and "Hooky for the Hookers," and he did a song with Biggie Smalls called "The Cunt Renaissance." And all that. Go listen to him back then, and then tell me this. You know what I mean? So I know this for fact because I lived it. So I know what it is. You know what I'm saying? What is this right here? Favorite boxer right now? My favorite boxer right now is the best boxer in boxing. I said it when Floyd Mayweather was fighting I mean, I told people back then who the best boxer in boxing was back then, that he beat Floyd every fought him, and that's Earl Spence. Earl Spence is the best boxer in boxing. People could say what they want about whoever they want, about Lomachenko, about whoever. I'll take Earl Spence over anybody. Anybody pound for pound. I don't think anyone sees Earl Spence. He's too big. He's too strong. He's got too much skill. I don't see it. The fight with him and Sean Porter, I don't see that fight lasting over 5 rounds. It lasts as long as Earl Spence wants it to last. He just mopped the floor with Sean Porter. And I know people who are really good friends with Sean Porter. My friend D, and she'd probably be so mad if you heard me say that. But you know, I think that it wouldn't be it won't last that fight. It'll go very fast. John asked, "Do I watch the UFC?" Yep, I do watch the UFC. I've watched the UFC since it was the UFC, since the beginning, when there was no weight classes in the UFC. I remember when Royce Gracie won the first UFC. I remember Dan the Beast Severn when he came back around. I remember Mark Coleman when he came back around training under Dan the Beast Severn. I watched the UFC since back then. You know what I mean? So I've watched the UFC since the beginning. I'm not one of these new people who have watched the UFC and everything. And I've always said, because my father used to always say, I've always wanted to see a boxer come into the UFC with a really good boxing style and see exactly what they could do with it, you know. And as you could see, it has basically turned to almost boxing, the UFC. The boxers came out and started dominating when really good boxers started coming in. Because in the beginning, it was always wrestlers like Dan Severn, Mark Coleman, Matt Hughes, all these big wrestler guys were just coming up, grabbing people up and throwing them around. But I always thought that if someone could come in there with a really good jab, that's bang, and a right hand over the top, bang, 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 and just get them out of there and keep them off them, you know what I mean, and just hit them, that you'd be able to be successful like that. And it showed and proved out that that's exactly what happened. That's the way it goes. What else do we got here? What is this? I quit watching UFC after Matt Mitrione big Kimbo Slice. I would say like this. That was, rest in peace, Kimbo Slice. That was his own fault. You know what I mean? Because he's just not. He's just not a. He didn't condition himself to allow himself to fight that fight, and that's it. He just went in there unconditioned, and that was it. He should have been prepared for the grind that it was going to be. So he did that to himself. He should have won that fight. He should have won that fight easy. And it seemed like he was nervous. I mean, he was doing all the stuff on the street and everything else, and he wasn't nervous in the street, but he should have brought that same. But when you get in them lights and you get with the crowd watching you, it takes so much out of you. Like, even if you train and train and train, it takes. That's the reason why I'll tell you, people always ask me, they say, why was Floyd Mayweather so good? The reason why Floyd Mayweather Jr. was so good, he had the skill set, yes, but his greatest skill set was he was always in shape. He never came in the ring out of shape. He was always in better shape than his opponent. He never got tired, ever. I never seen Floyd Mayweather tired in any fight that he was ever in, no matter how grueling, no matter what. He was always, so when he did what he had to do for the first 4 rounds, and when people gassed out, he kicked their ass. And that was it. And that would happen. He never gassed out. Once people started to gas out, it was, he put the pedal to the metal and just started beating up on him. And that was it. And that was his greatest aspect. And it's something that anyone could do if they actually would train. But I remember hearing Oscar De La Hoya, and he said it the best to me when he said that it's hard to wake up at 5 a.m. when you're sleeping in silk sheets, which basically means, you know, when you're trying, you're hungry and you're coming up and you're trying to get in the game and you're trying to become a champion, it's easy to get up there and do all the leg work and everything you need to be in shape. But once you get paid and you're in those silk sheets, boy, those silk sheets feel good. I don't know if you ever slept in silk sheets. I don't know if you ever did. Anybody in the chat, put it in there. if you have slept in silk sheets. Let me tell you, if you have not slept in silk sheets, it is a different feeling. It truly is. Has anybody slept in silk sheets? It is such a different feeling. And you don't want to do that work no more. Like you feel like you have already made it. Like I don't need to go out there. Oh my God, this feels so good. You don't want to get out of bed. Silk sheets, put it in there. Y'all slept in silk sheets. I don't know how many of y'all slept in silk sheets. You have to be naked. Like when you're in silk sheets, when you're in there, when you slept in silk sheets, like you don't want anything on your body at all. Like you like in that shit, butt ass naked, right? Straight up. And that's it. I have silk sheets. I can never leave my bed. You cannot leave your bed. When you have silk sheets, you can't have any undergarments on. You cannot have anything on touching your body but the silk. It's just the bottom line. Yeah, you have to be a completely butt naked. That's what it is, isn't it? That's how good it feels. It just feels like that. Like it's in there. And you just that's the way it feels when you're in silk sheets. You know what I mean? Silk sheets is just too good to feel. Listen, if silk sheets work in the wintertime, if you have heat in your house, right? As long as you have heat in your house, which I'm sure if you have silk sheets, you could pay the heat bill, right? That it don't matter what time of year it is, boy. Listen, silk sheets is it's a different feeling. Yeah, you see that's the only way you can sleep in. You have to be completely butt naked. it's it's a feeling, boy. Let me tell you, it's a great feeling. I would advise anyone if you ever have any, if you ever have any type of extra dough, or you want to splurge on yourself, buy yourself a pair of silk sheets and put your ass up in there, and then come back to me. Come back to me and tell me how it is that night, that sleep. When that silk hits you right in the ass. When that silk hits you in the ass and the back, boy, woo! 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 Oh my God, what have I been missing my whole life? It's just, oh my God, I'm up in this piece. I ain't going nowhere. That's the way it feels. Phil Diva, you need to do it. You need to do it. That's the bottom line. You need to just be up in them, man. I'm trying to tell you. That's it. That's it. Oh, you sexy ladies out there. If y'all ever want to experience how it is to sleep in silk sheets, I'm just saying that. If you wanted to come to House Teflon, and I got multiple pairs of them, you could experience it all you want. You know what I mean? But and if you get naked in them, that's on you. I'm not saying I'll be there with you. I'm just saying that you could experience it. You can experience it. Oh, God. It really is. But that's the way it is in boxing. A lot of people who you lose that hunger once you make that money. You lose that desire. You know what I mean? It just goes down like that. And that's it. Maybe it happens like that in all of aspects of whatever you do. But in boxing, it's just the worst because you get knocked the fuck out in front of every. You could lose your desire. Like say M. Night Shyamalan, right? Let's say him. He was when he came out with what was the movie? Now I can't think of the movie. M. Night Shyamalan. He came out with, give me the name of the movie, his most popular movie. You know what I'm talking about, with Bruce Willis and the little boy and the dead people. Oh my God. Why can't I think of the movie? Why can't I not think of, not Signs? Signs was terrible. The Sixth Sense. Thank you very much, OTDA. The Sixth Sense. We come out with The Sixth Sense. Smash hit. Smash ending. Great movie. He has never been able to duplicate that in any movie he's ever came out with, right? He's always tried to. It's never been the same. Now, could it be that he had such a good success and made such good money that he's not as into it anymore? Maybe he just that was his one hit. He one hit wonder dude. Now it's his one big hit. But when you make that money, you lose focus and you start, because after that movie came out, you start going to the parties, you start doing this, you're hanging out, you're doing that. You're not putting it into your craft anymore. It doesn't matter. You come up with a bad movie, you're still getting paid. People don't like you. All right, I'm going home with my money. And boxing, you start doing that and you get in the ring with someone, you get knocked out. You get knocked out. You get embarrassed. And it's embarrassing to be knocked out, man. Don't think that those boxers, when they get knocked out, they're not embarrassed about it. They definitely are. I could tell you, Sugar Ray Leonard told me this. He told me this straight up. He said that, when you're a boxer, you can go 50-0 and you're the toast of the town. Everybody loves you. Everybody wants to take a picture with you. Everybody wants to be around you. You're the biggest thing in the world. He's like, you lose one fight. You can win 50 in a row. You lose one fight, and God forbid you get knocked out in that one fight. He's like, nobody wants to be around you anymore. People start making fun of you. You can't go to the barbershop anymore. The people making fun of you at the barbershop were you just there last week and they were all up over you. They're making fun of you like those 50 wins you had doesn't even matter. One fight. All goes away in one fight. There's no other sport that happens in. Other sports, people lose all the time, but you never get treated like that. They still get treated like royalty, no matter what. Tom Brady's lost how many Super Bowls? And he still gets treated like he's the greatest quarterback of all time. But in boxing, it's one fight. If you lose one time, it all goes away. Everything you worked for all those years since as a kid, you lose one time, all that stuff goes away. So that's the difference between boxing and all other sports. And your life is on the line. Every time you get in that ring, your life is on the line. You know what I mean? So it's a whole different aspect. It's a whole different beast that you deal with when you're dealing with boxers and stuff. So that's the way it goes. All right, you talking boxing? We saying Sugar Ray Leonard versus Hitman Hearns. Love that fight. One of the greatest fights of all time. One of the greatest fights of all time, without a shadow of a doubt. Sugar Ray Leonard versus Hitman. Fight number one was a great fight. It was a really good fight, without a doubt. What you saying, Mo? I'm going to death on why Sugar Ray Robinson is the greatest prize fighter of all time. Yeah, Sugar Ray Robinson is the greatest prize fighter of all time. I don't think it's really debatable. In my book, I don't think anyone can really contest that Sugar Ray Robinson is the greatest fighter who's ever walked this face of this earth. There was no one better than Sugar Ray Robinson. I remember that what's his name? Oh my God, I can't think of his name. Not Gene Fulmer. Oh my God. He's from Canastota, New York, too. Oh my God. I got his autograph like 1,000 times. What is his name? I cannot think of this cat's name. That's so crazy. Carmen Basilio. I'm a Carmen Basilio who fought Sugar Ray Robinson. I remember he told me that he fought Sugar Ray Robinson, and he said he was in the fight and he was fighting him and everything else, and then he just said he got hit by Sugar Ray Robinson. He said he got hit, bah! And then the next thing he knew, he was sitting in his corner, and then he looked at his manager and he said to his manager, he looked around the crowd, he's like, where'd everybody go? And the manager goes, Carmen, you were knocked out 30 minutes ago. Hey, that's all he remembered. And that was it when he fought Sugar Ray Robinson. That's all he remembered. He said I just remember being in the fight. I remember I was in the fight, and I remember getting hit. Next thing I know, I was sitting in the corner and I looked around and everybody was gone. And that's why I said, where'd everyone go? He's like, you knocked out for 30 minutes. He didn't remember none of that. He didn't remember anything. That's all he remembered. That's all it was, you know. So no, Sugar Ray Robinson. Anyone who's ever beat Sugar Ray Robinson is knocked out. He knocked out everyone he ever beat. So that just shows you who he is and stuff like that, you know. He only was defeated by a couple of people. Gene Fulmer beat him. Carmen Basilio beat him, and he lost to the Raging Bull. Jake LaMotta beat him. He lost to them, and he lost to a guy that he's beating light heavyweight when he went to move up to light heavyweight. He was winning the fight, and he lost. He had to retire because of dehydration. But all those guys that I mentioned, except for the guy from dehydration, Sugar Ray Robinson knocked those guys out. So he beat everyone he came across. And that's what it is. All right. Anything else here that we talking about here? Anything else we're talking about here? Sugar Ray Robinson. I take Sugar Ray Robinson over Braun. I take myself over Braun. I fight Braun. I seen him in real life. Trust me. I take myself over Braun. I take myself over Nikolai Kozlowalda too. I see them both in real life. Trust me. That wouldn't be that's easy work. As for in the books, the person that they're portraying in the books, as for Sir Jaime Lannister, my sword skill is not that nice like that, But with his one-handed left hand, I would probably I'd take him pretty easy, without a doubt. But in real life, those guys, no, those guys ain't no threat. Not one of them is throwing down. Ain't none of them doing nothing. Not at all. Not at all. But they're cool peoples, though. They definitely cool people. There's no doubt about that. They're definitely cool. You know what I mean? But no, I definitely take Tony Teflon by a landslide. It wouldn't last that long. You've written a biography about a boxer. If you had to write a book about something from your life, what would it be about? If I had to write something about my life, what it would be about, it would just be about my life in general. I actually thought about doing that, writing a whole screenplay about it, about my life and everything, and not giving names or anything like that and putting things in there. It's a very interesting story. I wouldn't even put any of the YouTube stuff in there. I would be stuff way before that. But it would be very, very interesting. It would be I would write more about the music stuff that happened to me and how my musical career affected my kid's mom that I was with at the time and my children and everything else. It would be more of a story about that. And all that good stuff. So yeah, that's what basically I would do it about my younger days and everything else, and then into the music business and all that. Growing up in Queens, doing what we did to make money and everything else like that, it was a struggle. Sometimes I'm surprised that I made it out the way I did. I truly am. I was just talking about that earlier today to somebody, and it was just actually right before I got on here, I was talking about that with somebody, and it's just everything I've been through and stuff. It's a blessing that I even made it because I should not have made it. I shouldn't. So many other people didn't, and the fact that I did is just a blessing that I was able to do so. Because it really there was just so many times that it should have just been done. It should have been over for me. So it is what it is, though. But those are private stories, and I can't go into depth on all that stuff because there's a lot of family members and stuff like that involved. So, trust me, I can't talk about that or anything like that. You know what I mean? Do you have any other questions that we have here that you would like me to answer? The chat's going by, huh? Ah! Damn, it's yawning too much. I'm making y'all yawn. And say, my folks from Red Hook grew up. My parents from Red Hook grew up in Harlem. I understand. I'll tell you a story about what happened to me in fucking Red Hook fucking projects in Brooklyn. Oh my fucking god! So I was out there. My cousin Jamel was dating my cousin Jamel from Marcy Projects, and I went out there to visit him. And he was like he was dating this chick out in Red Hook Projects over there. So I had never been to Red Hook before. But I heard about the reputation of Red Hook and everything else. So I was asking, I was like, we good going up in there. Because you understand when you from a different projects and you go up into a project, it's capable of jumping off on you. So you go up in there and right, he's like, yeah, don't worry about it. My cousin Jamal, he won Golden Gloves twice. Twice. My cousin Jamal. Like when I had beef around my way and people used to try to fuck with me, I used to call my cousin Jamal from Brooklyn, yo, come down here, son. I need you to take care of something. And it was a wrap. He used to come out there and it was people that like people knew, like he visited me so much that the people around my way knew him. So they already knew, like people would know, like, you don't fuck him, he's gonna get Jamal down here. And it's a wrap. They don't want to know part of him, you know what I mean? Because I was small when I was growing up. I was quick with my hands and I did everything, but I was small. Like I said, when I was in 11th grade, I wrestled 119 pounds. You know what I mean? So back when I was in junior high school, I was really tiny. I was a real small guy and stuff. You know what I mean? Even if you're in 11th grade and you're wrestling 119 pounds, you're a pretty small person. You know what I mean? I just had really explosive hand power that if I hit people, they just went unconscious for whatever reason. But so people used to try to fuck with me. They ain't know because I would just be like, listen, call Jamel come down here and it's a wrap. I used to call my cousin Jamel come down here. It was a wrap. It was all over. It was a done deal. It was a wrap. I should pull a picture up from Facebook and you see it's a wrap, right? So he calls me up, Jamal. I'm over his house and he called me. I'm over his house and I'm chilling with him and stuff like that. And he's like, oh, I got this chick in Red Hook. I'm seeing we gotta go down there. I gotta go check her out and stuff like that. So I go down there to Red Hook Projects with him and stuff, and we go up in there. As soon as we are in this chick's apartment, her family apartment and stuff, here's her ex-boyfriend beating on the door, going crazy. Tell her to come out here. Tell her to come out here right now and see me like a man. Tell her to come out here and see me like a man. Blah, 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 blah. All this stuff going down just like that. And I'm like, man, what did you get us into? Why are we even here? You didn't tell me this chick's ex-man lived in the project with her out here right there. So it was on. Next thing you know, I'm telling you, you may think I'm exaggerating. There was at least 30 dudes on the stoop. And at least 30. I'm probably more, but at least 30. Bring them out, tell them come out here. Like 30 heads out here in the products. And I am scared to death. Like, yo, we're dead, son. We are not making it out of this one alive. There's no way we making it out of here. There's no way. 30 heads. What are you going to do with 30 heads? Nothing you can do there. So she lived on like the second floor. And we went to the back in the back room. And we jumped out the back window because everybody was in the front in the stoop. We jumped out the back window on the second floor. Boom. And then bounced and ran to the train station, right? So we figured that we in the back of the second floor. Ain't no one going to see us at the back of at the building. Everyone up in the front. So we bounce out the back and we run to the train station. We go right up into the train station right in there. I'm telling you, we in the train station in like 5 minutes. We are in the train station. The train station is flooded. All the dudes found out we was up in there, and they just flooded us in the train station. The whole place, the whole line floor is flooded with dudes from Red Hook. And they stepped to my cousin, and the dude came and bashed my cousin in the face with a bottle, like a 40 ounce. Boom! Bust him. My cousin fell back into the train tracks, into the subway tracks. Right into the boom, fell right down in the subway tracks. He got up and was like, Tone, let's go. I jumped down into the subway tracks and then jumped up on the other side. There was a train coming on the other side. You could hear it coming. And I ran all the way across, boom, boom, pulled myself up, got up in there. These dudes was nervous. They didn't want to go down the train tracks, so they went around the steps. You have to go down the steps and come up the other side and come up the steps. By the time they came up the steps, the train was there. We were inside the train door closed, and they was beating on the do. And the train just pulled off. My cousin's whole face was bleeding and shit. I was scared to death. I was scared to jump down. I never jumped down no goddamn train track. It's like that's not what you're supposed to do, man. You're not supposed to do that, you know. I jumped right down there, and I was just so full of adrenaline. I wasn't even thinking. If that train was closer, I would have just got murked by the train. But I was so nervous and seeing him going that I just bounced and just went, and that was it. And just got up in there, and we got away from that situation and survived that shit. That was a heroin situation. I don't know how we survived that one. I speak to him about that today. Like, we were so lucky. We were so lucky to get away from that situation and not have. I didn't get hit by no train or anything like that. It's not to get killed by them cats, because it was just a lucky situation that we got away with. But that's just a New York City situation, and I always tell people from that situation, don't ever date no chick from the projects, man. Don't do it, not unless you from them projects. And if you do date a chick from the projects, don't ever go into her projects ever. Don't ever do that. Never ever go in there and see her. Make her come meet you. Because that could happen to you. Yeah, don't date no chick from the projects, man. Stay away from that. Stay away, because there's some guy in that projects that grew up with her that's in love with her. That's loved her for like 15 years or whatever. So don't ever date no, don't be no outsider. I got chased out of Soundview in the BX shits. I got a story about fucking Soundview too. They tried to get me in Soundview too. They tried to get me in Soundview projects. They really did. They tried to get me there too. It was almost like the same exact situation that went down in Soundview. We went out to Soundview projects in the Bronx, and went out there with my man Riley Dog. His name was Riley. We call him Raw Dog or Chiba Stack. He had met some chick on the train that invited him to a house party up in there. So it was me, Cordap, Raw Dog, Bob Nixon, Gary, which is head record from the Bleach Brothers. I think somebody else was there. And Cord drove us out there in the van. And we go up there and we go up inside these projects. It's the house party, it's inside somebody's house. As soon as we go up in there, they frisk all of us up in there. They frisk everyone, frisk us in there, and we go up in there. So we got nothing on us, and they know it. The next thing you know, we in there, everything was all love and everything was good, but we was dancing. And while we were dancing, I was looking around. I was like, wait a second. We were from the outside. Now we all the way on the inside. And then I looked back and I seen dudes against the wall. And I seen the one dude pass the other dude the gun on the wall. I seen that. I caught it just like that. And my man B Nix was like, "You peeped that? You peeped that?" He's like, "Stay alert, stay alert." And I was like, "Oh man." I peeped it. I seen it. 50 ground. He just passed it. Whoop. Passed it right to the dude. B Nix caught. He's like, "You peep it? You peep it? Stay alert, like that." And I was like, "Oh man, damn, son. We up in this. And we always out here. We from Queens. We always out here in the BX." So we were sitting out there, and then Ron was like, "Listen, we gonna walk out this door, but not in a group. We're gonna leave like two at a time and stagger it out. You know what I mean? So people don't really know that we leave and just try to blend in, because there's mad people up in there. So that's what we do. We're staggering it out. One guy leave right then, next guy leave right then, and we all got it. And we got to them steps, and we got away. We just ran." And then we went outside to my man Court's van. We all jumped in the van, and we just fucking ducked down. And as soon as we ducked down, there was mad heads go, where they at? Where they at? Running around, but they didn't know we was in the van. And they were all running around. And it was one of those like work vans. So it had no windows on the side. And we were just on the back, just behind the gate, just laying low in the gate. And the people were looking through the window of the van. They were looking in the cars and stuff like that. And they couldn't find us. And they were looking around for us. They couldn't find us. And when they left, we just turned around and got the fuck up out of there. That was it. But yeah, I almost got in Soundview too. I almost got out there. So I almost. And listen, I'm telling you, when you in the city, man, people can say what they want to say, man, and say they come up to you and say, listen, I was the man, I was doing this or that. That's not the truth. You get caught in situations in the city, like would have got caught out there in Soundview. There was nothing we could do. We was murked. I got caught out there in Red Hook. There was nothing we could do. It was murked. And that's it. And that's the way it is in the city. Numbers is everything. And especially when you in someone else's projects, man, there ain't nothing you could do about that. You just get got. You got. And that's the bottom line. Heads could say anything you hear, some Billy Badass stories that people say, that shit is lies, man. That shit is lies. When you get caught in a situation like that, you just lucky to survive that shit, man. And that's the bottom line. And I was lucky to survive. I got more situations than that. You know what I mean? I got much more situations. I got situations where I have a lot of wins under my belt too. Those are L's that we took right then. You got to take an L. You got to be willing to take an L. And there's some people who aren't willing to take L's. They aren't willing to take losses. Those are the people who get killed, right? Those are the people who aren't willing to flee, who try to play Billy Badass and like, I'm this, that. Those are people who wind up dead, all right? Sometimes in life, you got to take that L and get the fuck up out of there so that you could come back another day or just live your life another day. Because we didn't go back to Soundview like, yo, we're going to get those kids each other out. Shit, he ain't do that shit. We was lucky to get the fuck up out of there. I ain't going to Soundview again. That's just the way shit be, man. And that's the truth. So any other people that come to you and they telling you all these stories, them just the stories, man. Them shits is right. Like I told you from the beginning, I always tell y'all the truth. Anything I tell you is the truth. Period. Point blank. End the story. I'll tell you if I tell you I got wins, I'll tell you the wins. If I take an L, I'll tell you I took an L. You know what I mean? And that's it. But those are the L's I took. Situations like that. You had no choice but to get the fuck up out of there. I mean, lucky to get the fuck up out of there. You know what I mean? Without a doubt. But it was a good time, though. I tell you, when you survive shit like that and you get away from shit like that, it's a good time. Because I remember after that, we went to White Castles and shit. And we got some fucking White Castle burgers. I had got some White Castle, some cheese fries. And we just laughed about that whole situation. Like, yo, we almost got caught, so they almost got us. Eating White Castles and shit, and drinking and shit, and eating cheese fries and fucking chicken rings, and fucking just like, oh, we almost got caught. We got away from that shit. Just look at that. You just laugh about situations like that, you know what I mean? Because you just good to get away and stuff like that, you know? That's just the way it be. Good old White Castles, 24/7, man. That's just the way it is, man. You gotta laugh that shit off, man. You gotta laugh it. You gotta laugh at that stuff. Yo, it's funny. Like, yo, we almost got it. We almost got caught, so they almost got us right there. It was close. That was a close situation. If anyone would have seen us in that van, if one person would have just spotted us in that van at that time, they would have shot that van up and wet us all up in that van. There's no doubt in my mind that we would have all got murdered in that van right there. They would just wet the whole van up. They would just wet us up. There's no doubt in my mind that if one person spotted us, they would have wet us up. We would have got wet. We would have all got murdered right then tonight. That without a doubt, we all got shot up. Because that's all they was. It wasn't even like they was after this to rob us. It's always a robbery involved. People ain't just really just want to murder you. It's always they want to rob you and stuff like that and everything. But it wouldn't have been that point. It would have just been a murder. It would just been, they would just took us all out, and that would have been that. But they didn't have the chance to. we were too stealthy for them at that particular time. They didn't have a chance to get us like that, you know. That's just what it is. What is John saying here? Well, thank you. I try, you know, I try to do it. You know what I mean? Try. What up to my man Fernandez T up in the building? What up, baby? How's everything, man? You know what I mean? How's everything? I think I've been able to say anything to you for a little while since you've been up in here, man. What up, homie? You know, that's just what it is, man. And it's not like I'm special. I guarantee you that if you talk to anyone in New York City, they can all tell you situations like that happened to them. They can all tell you stories just like that happened to them. It ain't nothing special. Hopefully they made it out of it and stuff like that. That's just New York City life, man. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna have to bounce up out of here, my people. I'm gonna have to get up out of here. You know the plans. I already explained to y'all the plans and everything else, how it's jumping off, you know what I mean, for Teflon TV. So just relax, just hold it down with me. Don't go nowhere. You know what I mean? I got stuff coming out for you. We got some things. As I said before, you know what I mean? It's gonna be Game of Thrones content coming soon, but we just expanding the curriculum a little bit. You know what I mean? It's gonna be a little bit more expanded. I'm recording tomorrow. After I record tomorrow, I think I'm recording again on Sunday. So I'll be recording tomorrow. I'll be recording on Sunday. Y'all have more content then. And it should be, as I said, it's going to be, when it comes down to the podcast, a weekly thing on the podcast. So that should be out every week. So make sure that you go to Podcast Bean and you can get the full thing. I'm going to release the full audio on the Podcast Bean and try to get out there every Monday. But then after that, the video version of each segment will be released daily. All right. And that's how that stuff is going to jump out there. No thing. So thank you all y'all cats for jumping out here, and cats and kittens, I should say. Right. Oh, we got the Podcast Bean up there. OTDA's got that in there for me. So thank you, OTDA. I appreciate that. Check out that link, you know what I mean? And definitely subscribe to that link, you know what I mean? I'm going to check and make sure y'all do that, man. Y'all supposed to be my peoples, man. Let's act like and go up there and subscribe to that Podcast Bean. Put that app on your phone and then do it. It's going to be on iTunes and everything else. It should have been already, but I've just been so busy with working out and doing everything else. I just don't have time to get around doing everything. So definitely put that Podcast Bean app. It's good. Even if you don't just listen to my podcast, everybody else's podcast that you want to be there, they're all on that Podcast Bean. It gives you a really good player to listen to it through. So definitely do that. I don't work for them or anything like that or anything. You know what I mean? I'm just telling you what it is and stuff. So definitely do that. You know I got love for you all. And as always, you know who it is. Peace and stay sexy. You see, the stupid thing. So you hit the button and then another box pops up, right? Well, why do they have to do this? If you have the end broadcast button on there, why do you want me to end it twice? If I hit the button, that means end it. Now I have to say the whole shit over again. Peace and stay sexy.